Hey y'all, here's our creature from the Black Lagoon in Cosclay, the fantastic flexible plastic. It's a new product from Gillman and Monster Makers. He's the guy that makes Monster Clay, and we've never tried Monster Clay, but we are trying this, and we really like it. So we've baked this twice. And I am applying some generic Neosporin just because it has petroleum jelly in it, and any petroleum jelly will make polymer clay fresh stick to cured. So I thought I'd do the fins right in here. He's got some upper fins that I dremeled away. And I should really pull up some creature reference. Yeah, this is an amazing suit. This is a very, very complicated suit they made. And I took out one of the plates because even though it is iconic, it kind of screams suit to me. So I took it out. So there would normally be one more right there. Hey John, yeah it is. It's bakeable just like Sculpey. And it says to bake it at 300 degrees. It's a little bit higher than Sculpey, says 275 on the box. And so like it says, the fantastic flexible plastic, it does have a little bit of, now I've baked this twice. It's flexible. It's got a little bit of flex to it. And you can really feel it when you put a tool to it. Like taking away that little bit with an X-Acto, that's where you can really feel the flex. And this, the petroleum, whatever kind of petroleum you use, just use as little as possible, even less than you think, because a little bit goes a long way. And it's just it's even good maybe to you put it on to try to wipe away a little, because it's just a minuscule reaction. It's a chemical thing that happens, and I want to make sure I'm not missing any but so we like it. This is our first test in it, and you never know, but you've got to try new stuff, or else we'd still be working in white Sculpey, right? or Celluclay or something. Even Sculpey has gone through a couple of phases with the white Sculpey and then the pink Sculpey and then the gray firm and medium blend. But I guess I'll try to put on some of these side fins. Brandon got me this Lazy Susan for Christmas, and it's heavy duty. Man, it's heavy duty. It's solid, and I love it. I have been working on it. Oh, son of a bitch. There it goes. But he's got a, and that's what's great about a large wooden block like this, is you can just drill as many holes as you want into it. Thanks, Arnold. Thanks, Randy. Language. Sorry, Scott. I didn't want to offend your ears. But, I'm not sure what this... the right side of his face looks like, but I'm going to go with pointy, curvy things. So we just want it to look evil, you know, that's what the best creature is, an evil creature. This is kind of a double-edged sword working, because on one hand the camera is literally in between me and the piece, but on the other hand I can see the piece in the camera, and that shows you all kinds of weird stuff that you wouldn't normally see. Like if you took a photograph and you saw something different. That's how looking at it through the... What is the brand name of the Lazy Susan? That's a fair question. Let's look and see. And I do not see one, but I wonder. I will post the name in the comments later. I'll find out from Brandon, hopefully. But it's sweet. It's heavy. It's solid. It's strong. See, when I go to work on something, I don't want it to move at all. That's why we make our armature so strong. It's because I don't want it to wiggle. So I'm normally suspicious of Lazy Susans because they're made out of plastic or something. This is up a little higher than I would normally work. I don't like to lift my hands above my shoulders as a rule of thumb, just because I'm sitting here for so long. So this is looking up at him just a hair, or maybe right at him. This is looking down at him. He looks a little meaner. Hey Cassidy, I saw your entry into the Monster Rider Challenge 3. That looked cool. And I want to thank everybody for posting their armatures and entries into the challenge. Thanks, Joe. Pottery banding wheel. Yeah, I might have to do that. Hey, Peggy. So the little dots are a combination of just everything. Some of it's drawing. And then so, like I was saying, I've baked this twice already. But so then I'll come back. And like I said, I'm using some generic Neosporin that I'm just barely touching this thing with. And it's because it has white petroleum in it. So it'll make the fresh Cosclay stick to the cured Cosclay. So if I was going to work on this area right here, I would just take a smallest amount possible. Make sure it gets in all the cracks, because that's the key here. And then just take the smallest little piece. May or may not drop it onto the ground. Oh, there it goes. It landed on this thing. And then put it on. And right here, so I'm trying to create some action lines that are going up towards. So I might just put it there. And I might tap it with my finger or with the brush. And then I might touch it again once or twice just to make sure it's on there. And in general, that when, because we're going to make a mold of this. So what I'm doing there is I don't want the silicone to be able to go around that thing too much and catch in it. So it needs to look real 3D, like it's coming out towards you, but it can't create a concave vacuum for the mold where the rubber's going to go around and lock around that thing and not want to pull out. You want it to pull out not just 1 or 2 castings, but like 30 castings, 40 castings. So you have to think about that kind of stuff. But so here it is from, the back. Haven't worked on it as much, so some of these scales are just... Hey, Gio. Hey, Jason. Yeah, the undercut, Sandra, exactly. You don't want to create undercuts, because that's just a problem waiting to happen, really. Now, I've brought these fins. The arm fins don't really come up this high. They stop below the elbow. But for detail's sake, and just for the sake of artistic license, we've brought them up a little higher so that there's some stuff happening over here, and they're just great action lines. Something's happening over here. There's motion. So these fins over here don't look as good either, because we just haven't worked on it as much. Man, the truth be told, I like to work on the money shot, the money shot, and the money shot. And then everything else is like, oh crap, I have to make it make sense from back here to you. That's just because 99.99% of the people are going to see a photograph of it. Hey Vague, how you doing, man? Ooh, I'm gonna butcher this name. Jeanette. Yes, you can carve it after baking. Absolutely, you can carve it. We've carved it, we've sanded it, we've dremeled it. When I carve, and I like to think my background is wood. I carved up a lot of 2x4s and plywood and stuff back in the day. But when I carve, I like to use a round number 2. And I think that Chesrock, what's up, man? Hey, Mike. So then I baked it twice already, and several heat gun Several layers of heat gun. Where's my heat gun? So we like a Wagner. It's got high and low, and we almost always go with low. Like, it's better to heat gun it on low 10 times than it is to heat gun it too much one time. As soon as you burn it, you have really screwed the pooch with polymer clay. So if you're doing it too lightly and it's taking a long time, good. It should. You don't want to burn it. So craft heat gun, the paint strippers are a level above this. The paint strippers are going to go up. This is probably, I'm going to guess, 350 on low, 700, 750 on high. It doesn't say, I think, does it say? No, it doesn't say the temps, but that's the average heat gun. So heat guns are good for baking outside things, for baking little details. You don't want to put the whole thing through the oven again. But if you want to bake it all the way through, you probably want to go with the oven. Peggy, okay, Arnold. Yeah, this is a learning process because I've never worked with anything that flexes like this, but it is cool. Peggy, the cost? This is a product that isn't out yet, so I'm not sure, Peggy. But I think it will be coming out in the spring. Teeth and horns are perfect for Cosclay. I love that. Yeah, it seems like they would be. He's tricky. It's a tricky face because you don't want it to look. You don't want it to look. It can venture into cartoony just because of the design. But I'm trying to make it look evil. Cost will be competitive. Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, I know, I kind of figured that just because Monster Clay is so popular. And I mean, Monster Clay is, you know, Simon Lee is using it. Simon uses it a lot. And that tells you. But a lot of people use it a lot. So I figured that it was a fair price to be that popular. Yeah, this is... We love Creature from the Black Lagoon, man. We worked on one for More Creations that never came out way back when. And it was back in the day of VCR tapes, and I wore out a VCR tape watching it over and over. So anyhow, let me try to do a couple of little fins here. How it's different from Sculpted. Well, I would say it's more similar to Sculpted than different. I mean, it's a polymer clay. It's doing just what I would think it should do. It definitely has some flex. I don't know if you can see that. Let's try this one. It goes out a little further. Yeah, I mean, see that right there? That's not Sculpted. Sculpted wouldn't do that. It would either not do it or it would break. So I can see that being very effective if you're taking originals to shows, which we all do at some point. It's not ideal, but you know, we always say you can't leave the piece in the closet and hope somebody comes and knocks on your door and says, hey, do you have any stuff in your closet? You've got to get it out. You've got to present your best table and have your most current stuff. So, yeah, Simon Lee tomorrow at 4 p.m. Spider Zero broadcasting for 3 hours live. We asked him to do 2 hours. He said he would do 3 hours. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm very excited. I'm very grateful to Simon for doing that. So I'm not really working here. I'm just kind of talking. But, so long story short, we like this Cosclay. If we didn't like it, I wouldn't be doing a video. You know what I'm saying? It's, my lighting is probably crap. Sorry about that. Where I can feel it the most, like I was saying, the difference is if I took this and wanted to carve away something like that. I don't know how much you can see that, but see, it's kind of got a little, that rubbery thing. Hey, Guido. Man, I want to thank Guido Alave, I'm probably butchering his name, sorry about that, for making all the banners for the All-Star Wednesday night live sculpting thing. Those banners really make the whole thing seem kind of fancy. So Brandon and I really appreciate that. And the banner for the Monster Rider Challenge. So okay, so let's add some fins. And hopefully these will be real fins because they might come back off. I've already dremeled off is it's Target Costume Makers. No, I don't think so, but I don't want to speak for Arnold. I think it's for probably 1/6 scale. I don't know. I mean, you could probably do anything with it. Yeah, we've sanded it, and it sands well. There's an X factor where I don't know if I'm baking it at a high enough temperature. To be totally honest, the way I'm baking stuff is in this small toaster oven outside. And if anybody saw it, it's comical. It's got a couple of sheets of aluminum foil and a metal pan that goes over it. So I'm keeping that in mind, that I'm probably not reaching the 300-degree mark. You might be able to hear my baby dog, Hoss, making some funny sounds. He can't figure out what I'm doing because I'm talking. And I should really have some reference on the right side of his head here, but we'll just go with this for now. And I'm just not worried about nailing the suit or nailing the original design. That's been done. I'm just having a little fun. We will probably have these at Monster Palooza. And again, I want these fins to come out as far as possible and be 3D. But they need to be able to pull out of a mold. Yeah, it does carve very well. I agree. Now, you know, I've been working in Aves for a while, just because I just fell in love with Aves. And so, honestly, the detail I'm getting in this it feels great. And Arnold, will people be able to mix this with other polymer clays like they like to do? Like whatever it is, the Primo or the Fimo. Can you show how you did the little scale? Absolutely. So the little scales start with just drawing in some little things, dot, dot, dot. But then just take off a little bitty piece. Like this one might even be too big. And then I'll pick it up and put it wherever I want it. And again, I'm just trying to create some action lines that are going up this way. Choo, 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 choo. And so maybe right there. And at first it looks different, but then after you touch it a little here and there, it blends right in. And then probably touch it with the brush once or twice. And so there will be some little micro canyons and crevices and caves in this. So at some point, we'll turn it upside down and go in with some Mod Podge. Where's some Mod Podge? I love Mod Podge, and I use it at every opportunity. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. This. It's for sealing like jigsaw puzzles or something, but it's just this awesome, it's kind of like Elmer's glue but thicker, so you can just do all kinds of stuff with it. So by itself it's a little thick, but if you mix it with just a little bit of water, and you can put it anywhere you want and it'll fill in that little crevice. And because water always finds its own level, it'll fill in the most important, you know, the deepest little thing right there. And I mean, you're dealing with shit on a microscopic scale, but that's what it is. I mean, this is probably smaller than 1/6. This is 4 inches, 4.5 maybe. So that's pretty small. That would be a small creature at 1/6. That's probably getting towards 1/7. The mouth is going to be a tricky part because it's really got a bunch of funny little openings and stuff that would be very difficult to mold. So I have to do something that reminds you of a Gillman mouth without, it's not really exactly. But also I want to thank all the all-stars, all the guest sculptors, Forrest, Eris, Miss Monster, Jordu, Virginie, Tom Keebler, and Simon. It's really been fun and interesting, and I think it's great information for the average sculptor out there, whether they're just getting started or whether you're at the top of the game. I mean, these people, you're learning from them no matter how good you are. So Brandon and I are really grateful. Tomorrow is the day. Thanks, Sandra. Tomorrow is the day, Gio. It sure is. And everybody should go and look at Simon's page. It's just amazing to browse through the sketches and the things that it looked like he did in 5 minutes, and it's still this whole story, and it's beautiful. Curable oven safe clay. Okay, see, I didn't know that. Cosclay stands for curable oven safe clay. Good to know. And that's so important because, you know, if you're an amateur and you're making things every once in a while, it's one thing. But when you start making things all the time, just common sense, you wanna to be as non-toxic as possible. And so I think that's what Arnold's trying to do. And I mean, as a sculptor, I certainly appreciate it. But he's got a lot of little warts on his face, so let's do some warts. And you know you're getting some decent detail when you make the tack on a stick. Oh yeah. Hey, you got to do what you got to do. Am I right? So that's a thumbtack that I've floral wired, duct taped, and super glued to the end of the thing, so I can get in here and do a little. Yeah, so I'm looking at it through the camera. It's always different. I don't love these yet, but we're going to keep working on it. I think, who was the lady who originally sculpted the creature head? I can see the picture of her. Millicent Patrick. Thank you, Kirk Duffy. I'm not looking at the questions at all, or comments at all. I'm so sorry, y'all. Oh, thanks for all the shares. Hey, I appreciate that. Very considerate of y'all. And I'm so sorry. Hey, Lala, that I'm not looking at the... Yeah, this, like I was saying about the creature, the Gillman costume, it is deceptively complicated. If you ever try to sculpt a creature from the Black Lagoon, man, you will be doing somersaults in your mind, trying to get all the patterns and stuff. Because what I'm doing here is a horrible. I mean, no. It's very, very complicated. And it's not just a bunch of little bumps either. But also, I really want to say thanks to Arnold for letting the forum be a part of his beta testing for Cosclay. He's letting 12 forum members help to test the clay, and that's great. You know, like I've said in the forum, when you look at the success of Monster Clay, it's like, wow, this is cool. This is his new clay, and we're, you know, even if he takes one person's information and it helps to affect it, then that's, you know, job well done to the group. So that's fun. And yeah, Simon Lee, Spider Zero, 2 o'clock out in Cali, 4 o'clock in Texas. He's going to go for 3 hours. And look at this little spider that has climbed on the end of my tool. Is that amazing? He's not having it. He's like, what? Bring it. Oh, shit. Here he comes. Whoa. Whoa, buddy. Whoa, buddy. Don't start with me. He's scary. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. And let's everybody meet tomorrow. 24 hours till Simon Lee. And Thanks for everybody participating in the Monster Rider Challenge 3. I think that's going to be fun as we go along and everybody's showing what they're working on. So, all right. Good afternoon, y'all. Peace.